I know it's as weird for you as it is for me. It feels so weird to not be on camera at the moment. It's a lot earlier in the morning today and I wanted to start the episode, but I didn't really feel like being on the camera yet, so I felt like I should just start filming. So yeah, no camera in today's episode and it feels very weird. Definitely a little bit of a throwback, but yeah, I'm still here and we're reading a whole bunch of terrifying but also fun stories, and let's get into it. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she can't take her grandson for an entire day by herself? I, female 30, had a baby 5 weeks ago and I live long distance from my in-laws. Mother-in-law's coming into town next week to visit and meet the baby and wants to take him all over town for an entire day without me. He's exclusively breastfed and does not take a bottle. He'll only eat for a few seconds and then screams and looks for breast. He's never been away from me and gets worked up and fussy when I leave the room for more than a few minutes. He is happy and healthy but very attached to me, which I don't think's unreasonable for being exclusively breastfed and only 5 weeks. Mother-in-law's told my partner multiple times that he needs to make me put baby on a bottle so that she can take him, and that I don't know what's best for the baby. This is her first grandbaby, but it's baby number 3 for me, so I'm not new to this. They say that I'm trying to keep the baby from her, and I'm selfish for thinking it's too early for him to be away for an entire day. No one on my side of the family has had him by themselves. He has never been anywhere without me. I'm happy to let her have all the time with him that she wants to, as long as we're all in the same place. She's not familiar with the area and has not communicated where their hotel is or what they're going to be doing or where they're going or how long she wants him, just that she wants him by herself for the entire day, specifically without me. I'm getting alarm bells and red flags from the entire situation. My partner has said, and I quote, "I will not be with someone that would keep my baby from my mum and be so selfish." Wow. But I'm just trying to protect my infant. I told them they can spend all the time with him that they want to, and I won't interfere unless he needs to eat or gets too worked up. Am I the a-hole? No, and I'm so sick of the ones where the partner is backing up their mum and not backing up their own partner. It's so frustrating. Edit, my answer is unequivocally no. She cannot take my baby anywhere. Thank you for the support. And for more detail, they're from a Caribbean country where there are many cultural differences, as well as a language barrier, so I didn't see the red flags until I was very pregnant. I've only met mother-in-law once in person a few years ago, oh my god, and she put the crazy away for that occasion. She said many times during my pregnancy that he wanted the baby born in his home, rather than here in the States where we live, but I made clear that that was not feasible. He has also expressed that he wants to take baby back to his home country to learn his language and culture at some point. I fear that he and mother-in-law are plotting something behind my back, but I've been told that I'm being controlling and manipulative and dramatic and selfish so many times in the past week that I think I'm losing my grip. Oh, this is so bad. Am I actually seeing the signs I'm seeing, and do I need to be reacting as strongly as I am? I will not be letting my baby out of my sight, and she'll be lucky to see the baby at all with the way that she's behaving. Is that too overbearing or just being a protective mother? I haven't gotten enough sleep for this. No, not the a-hole, and I'm so sorry that you don't have a partner that backs you up. It's just another partner that doesn't back up their own partner and sides with their mum. Like, is it every episode that we read about somebody like that? I feel like it is. It's so common and it sucks. Alright, let's read some comments. The top comment, not the a-hole. Your husband's lost his mind pressuring you over this lunacy. Nothing about your mother-in-law's demands are sane or sensible or reasonable. No, practice saying it. No, no, no. Do not let this woman leave your home with your child. Not even for 5 minutes or she'll disappear for the day. Not check in and ignore your calls. If your husband's a first-time father, maybe he just doesn't get it about an EBF newborn, to be as fair as possible to him. But still, no. And the comment below that says, I mean, obviously not the a-hole, but your husband sure is though. Call his bluff and leave. Laying down guilt trips and ultimatums like that over a newborn is disgusting behavior. Yeah, 100%. The guilt tripping's awful. One of the comments further down says, something's definitely up with the partner and his mum. It sounds to me like they want to take the baby and leave with him. Take your kids and go stay elsewhere, and for God's sake, consult an attorney. I know that might sound nuts OP, but no one thinks it's okay for a 5-week-old to be away from his mother for a full day. Go OP, just go. Yeah, it really doesn't sound good. There's a comment here that OP responded to, and the comment says, I'm wondering if it's some sort of ploy between the two of them to get the baby for a DNA test because your husband and your mother-in-law are unsure of the parentage and they want to pull a gotcha. This whole keep baby away from my family angle is bullshit. Ask him to go ask his buddies' wives or girlfriends about somebody taking their newborn. And yeah, 5 weeks old is still a newborn, on their own for a whole day, who's exclusively breastfed and has no idea where this baby's gonna go for a whole day. And OP responded, "That's what I'm feeling too." There's gotta be some kind of scheming behind the scenes between him and his mother. There's no chance that the baby's not his, but I wouldn't put it past them to check behind my back. My husband has said many times that he wants to move closer to his mother and that he and his son, excluding my older sons and I, will be going quote unquote soon. My biggest fear is that they're gonna disappear with my newborn. So many red flags, and I feel paranoid and crazy. Yeah, you're definitely not though, OP. I feel so sorry for OP. This situation sucks. To have a partner that's not even backing you up at all, but then also everything else as well here. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole, and definitely not the a-hole consensus too. And good luck to OP. There's no updates or anything, but who knows, there might be one in the future. The next one says, am I the a-hole for reporting my sister's boyfriend to his job after he pranked me with fake eviction papers? Wow, okay. So I'm using a throwaway account because my sister follows my main account. Okay, so I feel like this blew up way more than I expected, and now my sister's pissed at me. I, 26 female, live in an apartment complex that my dad owns. I pay reduced rent, but it's still a legal lease and I have a contract. I work full time and I handle my own bills, so it's not like I'm mooching. My dad just wanted to help me save while I get through grad school. And for context, I'm in my second year of a master's program in social work. I work part-time at a crisis shelter, and to be honest, things have been pretty stressful. A lot of what I do is literally helping people avoid eviction, so that might help explain why this hit me so hard. My sister Emma, 28 female, has been dating Nick, 30 male, fake names used for obvious reasons, for about a year. He's one of those guys who thinks he's the funniest person in the room, but mainly just makes people uncomfortable. Weird jokes that aren't tasteful, pranks, and he thinks of himself as an alpha male type. Oh my god, cringe. Trust me, I wish I was kidding. He's done stupid pranks in the past too. One time he swapped out his co-worker's decaf coffee for regular as a joke, and the guy had a full-on panic episode at work because apparently he had a heart condition. The man reported him to HR, and Nick just laughed it off and said everybody was just too sensitive and that it was a harmless prank. How is it a harmless prank, dude? The guy had a heart condition and was drinking decaf for a reason, and you sent him into a full-on panic episode because you switched out the decaf for normal coffee. Oh yeah, a harmless prank. No, it's not. I'm not too sure why HR didn't do more, seeing that his co-worker had a literal health condition that could have been worsened by his harmless prank. Nick came over a few weeks ago while my sister was helping me move some furniture. I left him alone in the living room for maybe 10 minutes while I ran to get coffee for all of us. When I'd come back with our drinks, Emma and Nick went quiet. I was a little bit concerned, but my sister said it was nothing. Emma and I were moving this crazy heavy dresser that my grandma had gifted me, and Nick made some comment like, if you just got off your lazy ass, you wouldn't have to take people's leftovers. Oh my god, and this guy feels like he's funny? This is so infuriating. I looked at my sister shocked, like what the She just told him to knock it off, and then he just shrugged and went off into the living room. A couple of days later, I went to check my mail and I see an envelope in my mailbox. It's an official notice of eviction that looked pretty convincing. My heart stopped. I thought maybe I missed some clause in the lease or something happened to my dad. I started freaking out and I was crying. I called my dad in a panic. He was just as confused as me and asked me to send pictures. He said that he didn't know anything about it and hadn't authorized anything like that. For a while, I thought about all sorts of possibilities. Maybe some stalker or random jerk found out where I lived and was trying to scare me, or maybe there was some kind of error. But something I did notice when I inspected the letter again, I'd seen that it was sent out with the same company that Nick works for. A day or two later, I brought it up while getting drinks with my sister and Nick, along with a few mutual friends of ours. The second that I mentioned the envelope and my worry that somebody could be messing with me, I noticed that Nick started acting a bit weird. He stopped making eye contact and engaging in conversation and started fidgeting with his phone. My sister had also gone quiet. I kept on thinking about that moment in my apartment and how odd it was. And plus the company that had served me matching up with Nick's job. And how surprisingly unfazed Emma was when I told her about the eviction notice. Eventually I put her aside from the rest of the group and I asked her if Nick had anything to do with it. And after some hesitation, she admitted that it was him. According to my sister, she didn't agree with it and Nick thought the prank would be funny. Like, take this as a lesson not to rely on daddy's help forever. Wow, okay. He apparently apparently thought that he was being funny and giving me some sort of motivation. I was shocked nonetheless. I was mad at my sister for even letting it go on, and Nick for being so insensitive. Who in their right mind would think that was funny? Yeah, like all the other stuff that Nick thought was funny but definitely wasn't. Oh, that's so annoying. Which, it's crazy because again, I pay rent, I work, and my dad offered the apartment to me because I help manage the property when he's out of town. But here's the part that really angered me. Nick had known that I've been struggling. He's heard me talk to my sister about burnout, about feeling overwhelmed with work and school. He's literally sat across from me at dinner while I vented about clients at the shelter being scared of eviction. This is where I might be a bit of an a-hole. Nick works in property management. Like, it's his job to handle leases, evictions, inspections. So this wasn't just some random prank. He'd used actual template formatting from his company to make it look real. I was livid, and my dad was too. After thinking about it for some time, I reported him to his company's ethics hotline. Yeah, good job, OP. I sent them photos and I explained what happened. Well, they took it seriously. He was fired for inappropriate use of power and other pranks that he'd done. Yeah, well, actions have consequences. Now my sister and Nick are blaming it on me, of course. Oh, that's so annoying. Like, oh no, don't blame Nick, the person who actually did the thing that got him in trouble. No, blame OP. God, that's so frustrating. My sister's saying that I ruined his career over a joke. My mum's begging me to apologize because he was just trying to be funny. And Nick has anxiety now. I get that maybe I should have yelled at him or confronted him directly, but honestly, I was worried that if I hadn't reported him now, what other pranks could he have done using his job as a dumb joke? Yeah, and he 100% would have. At least this way he might actually think twice about it before he does it. He would have just kept on doing it. He'd given me a severe panic attack with his prank, made me question my housing stability, and forged documents that looked extremely real, just to prove a point, all while knowing that I was already struggling. Now my mum and my sister are saying that I took it too far and I made it a work thing. My brother did take my side in this, saying that if you hadn't have done it, I would have, and agrees that he is the one who took it too far. I just want this whole thing to be over with, and dealing with this crap from my family plus my school and work life has really taken a toll on me. I just want to know if I'm crazy or not in thinking that reporting him wasn't a mistake. Thank you for listening to my hopefully not too long ramble. I just need some advice here. Oh yeah, you definitely did the right thing, OP. He was never gonna stop doing these sorts of pranks, and there should definitely be consequences for this. And now that there actually was a consequence, maybe he'll think twice about it before doing it again. Oh yeah, just a funny prank. What's funny about it, dude? Like switching the co-worker's coffee and making him have a panic attack because he had a heart condition. Yeah, that wasn't funny either, dude. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Obviously you're not the a-hole. He used company stationery to send a false eviction notice, and he has a habit of this kind of behavior to other employees. Honestly, if I were you, I'd cut your sister out until he either apologizes to you profusely or dumped his alpha male ass. Oh yeah, that's right. The alpha male stuff. What a dip. Yeah, I forgot about the alpha male stuff. Yeah, he thinks he's a quote alpha male. Oh god. The second top comment says, of course you're not the a-hole. That wasn't a joke. If it was a joke, he would never have been fired. Yeah, that's such a good point. It's misuse of company property. He's literally facing the consequences of his own actions. He's an immature bully and he deserved everything he got. And so typical of him to be like, oh, it's all your fault. And everybody else to be like, oh, you're ruining his life. Like OP's ruining his life with his own actions? Yeah, no, it's not OP's fault. A comment below that comment says, not the a-hole, and the only response to Nick is, dude, can't you take a joke? It was just a prank. See how funny pranks are, dude? Kinda like when you pranked the guy who almost had a heart attack because you poisoned him with caffeine, when his body couldn't even tolerate it. Pranks are really funny, aren't they, funny guy? Him actually suffering the consequences of his actions might be the only way for him to ever change. And maybe your sister will see him for who he is. Yeah, like, bro, pranks are so funny, aren't they? What, can't you take a joke? Like, come on, dude, laugh about it. It's hilarious. The next one says, am I the a-hole for refusing to give my sister the wedding dress that I bought, even though I'm not getting married anymore? So, I, 29 female, was supposed to get married last year, but my fiance and I ended up breaking things off a few months before the wedding. It was mutual, no drama, just a real realization that we weren't compatible long term. The thing is, I'd already bought my wedding dress custom made, and it cost me nearly $4,000. I know that's a lot, but I paid for it entirely myself, and it meant a lot to me at the time. After the breakup, I packed it up and I put it into storage. Haven't been ready to sell it or do anything with it. It's emotional. Here's where it gets messy. My younger sister, 24 female, recently got engaged. We're not super close, we're kinda different people, and she's always been a bit entitled. She came over a few weeks ago and she saw the dress when we were organizing my storage closet, and she asked me if she could have it for her wedding. I kinda laughed and said, no, that's mine. She got annoyed and said, but you're not even getting married. You're just gonna let it rot in a box? I told her again, no, it's personal to me, and even though I'm not using it now, I'm not gonna give it away. Yeah, and that should be the end of it. Your sister should understand that. She asked me if she could buy it at a discount, and I said that I wasn't ready to sell it. She threw a fit and called me selfish and said that I was being dramatic over just a dress. Our mum's now involved and thinks that I should give it to her as a gesture of sisterly love. And because it's going to waste? Hey, how about stay out of it? But I honestly feel like she's only asking me because she doesn't want to pay for one herself. And she's not exactly struggling financially. So now I've got my sister and my mum acting like I'm heartless and petty for not handing it over. But it feels like a boundary that I want to keep. Yeah, of course, OP. And that's so understandable. And the mum getting involved too, like, oh, it's going to waste. You should give it to her as a gesture of sisterly love. Hey mum, you should stay out of it. This comment says, not the a-hole. It's not an act of sisterly love to see your sister walk down the aisle in the dress that you were meant to wear to your wedding. That sounds incredibly emotional and somewhat torturous to me. Yeah, that's such a good point. Hide it away so that she doesn't go behind your back and take it anyway. As entitled people tend to get their way by any means possible. Yeah, for sure. That's such a good point too, like the response says. Yeah, that would be so upsetting. I find it weird that the sister can't appreciate how that would feel from OP's perspective. Yeah, the sister must be so self-centered. A comment below that one says, not the a-hole. Your mum's an a-hole though for weighing in on property that's not hers. She can go and buy your sister a $4,000 dress as a gesture of motherly love. Yeah, what? OP should just give their $4,000 custom-made dress to their sister as a gesture of sisterly love? And they're guilt-tripping OP because OP understandably doesn't want to? That is so bad. This comment says, I want your stuff, you want your stuff, therefore you're selfish? There's too much of this in the world. Yeah, there is, and we read about it all the time. Like, you're selfish because you want to keep something that's very expensive and very sentimental? And the top comment says, gee mum, I decided you were right. I shouldn't just let it rot in a box, so I sold it or donated it. Then put it somewhere that they won't find it. You could store it at a friend's house or rent a small storage unit until after the wedding, and then offer to donate money to your sister as your wedding gift, since she seems to be hurting for money. Not the a-hole. Yeah, because otherwise they're probably gonna keep on trying to get it, or keep on trying to guilt trip OP, which I'm sure they're gonna do. And also, if OP did pretend that they sold it, they would be like, you're so selfish, I can't believe you would do this. Don't you love your sister? Like, you're so heartless. They'd make such a big deal out of it too. This comment says to sister, it is just a dress, one that you can't have, and you won't get no matter how much you pout or stomp your foot or call family. You're an adult. The word no applies to you. It's not cute when a child throws a tantrum, and it's even less so when it's an adult. Move on. To mum, unless you want to be viewed as taking sides in something that has nothing to do with you. I suggest that you sit this one out. Every word out of your mouth is showing favoritism, masking as keeping the peace, and to anybody else that will inevitably join the fray, this is my property. My sister has no claim to it any more than she has claim to your things. Don't you volunteer what doesn't belong to you, and don't try to guilt or manipulate me on her behalf. She needs to learn that the word no applies to her. She's far too old to throw tantrums and expect to get her way. If you want to support her, write her a check. If you want me to go no contact, keep on talking. Yeah, it's so unbelievably entitled. And your mum backing her up too, that is so telling. Like, oh, okay, so they're acting like an entitled brat, and the mum's enabling it. Yeah, and also this comment, not the a-hole. Your sister's throwing a tantrum and dragging your mother into the situation, and you're being dramatic? Lol. Yeah, how sick silly. You're very much not the a-hole OP, and that's definitely the consensus. Keep standing up for yourself, OP. Post number 4 says, am I the a-hole for locking the office fridge after somebody kept on stealing my lunch? I, 34 male, work in a small office with about 10 people. We share a communal kitchen, including one fridge. Over the past month, my lunch has been stolen 5 times. Not just random snacks, entire homemade meals that I bring from home. Gone without a trace. It's not just frustrating, it's expensive and it messes up my day. I mentioned it a couple of times in the group chat, like, hey, somebody's been taking my lunches, please stop. Everybody either ignored it or sent vague messages like, oh, that sucks, or some people are the worst, but no one took responsibility. So I bought a mini fridge and I put it under my desk. Nothing fancy, just enough to hold my meal and a drink. I also put a little lock on it for extra peace of mind. Since then, no more stolen lunches. Well, last Friday, one of my co-workers, I'll call her Dana, 29 female, confronted me during lunch and said that it was weird and selfish that I had a personal fridge. She's the one who's been taking your food, OP. She said that it made me look paranoid and not part of the team. I said that I was tired of my food being stolen, and this was the only solution that worked. She said that I should have just brought stuff I wouldn't care about losing. Wow, okay. Like snacks or microwave meals if I was so worried. Yeah, that's not the answer. A couple of others have now made little comments like, don't let him see your lunch, he might lock it up. Oh, we get it, you're special. I'm starting to feel like the weirdo in the office, just for protecting my stuff. Am I the a-hole for locking up my lunch instead of letting this keep on happening? Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. It sounds like Dana's hangry now that she doesn't have free lunch. Yeah, for sure. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, but Dana's your thief. She got hungry and she came looking to steal food. This comment says, not the a-hole. I would respond with equal snark. Haha, I guess we know who's missing my home-cooked lunches. Do we need to chip in and get Dana cooking lessons? Watch out, next she'll be raiding my home fridge. I better pay attention to my doorbell camera. And the response says, y'all better watch out, she's checking out your lunches now. This comment says, not the a-hole, but just give the same energy back. They're all treating it like a joke, so keep it at a joke level. Don't be serious about it. Haha, watch out, OP, food thief might be around. And you respond, good one, but I haven't seen Dana all morning. Laughing my ass off. Also, I take no responsibility for what happens after this. Yet once again, very much a not the a-hole consensus. And moving on. Am I the a-hole for asking my fiance's relatives to pay for themselves after they brought uninvited guests to our pre-wedding dinner? So I, 30 male, am engaged to my fiance, 29 female, and we're getting married this fall. Last weekend, we hosted a small pre-wedding dinner, just a chill evening for our immediate families to meet and talk and celebrate a bit before the real wedding chaos begins. We reserved a table at a mid-range restaurant that we both like, good food, not crazy expensive, and we confirmed 14 people coming. Our parents and siblings plus 2 friends from the wedding party, everything was set. I even called ahead to double check the head count. We show up and her family brings 4 extra people. Her cousin and his wife who were visiting anyway, her sister's boyfriend, and weirdly, his teenage daughter. They said it was last minute and they hope that's okay. The staff were gracious, though somewhat surprised. They had to push another table over and reshuffle the whole seating plan. We ended up waiting around 15 minutes apologizing to the servers. Not a disaster, but definitely awkward. Dinner itself was fine, everybody had a good time. We had mains and shared some appetizers and a few bottles of wine, nothing too wild. But when the check came, it was a little bit over $850. We'd expected around $650 based on the confirmed guests and menu, so I quietly asked the server to split the extras meals from the rest. I paid for the 14 that we planned for, and the extra $200 from the uninvited guests. I felt that wasn't really on us, lol. Everybody paid without fuss, but her cousin seemed confused. Her sister didn't say anything at the time, but later my fiance told me that she felt embarrassed and that I made her family feel unwelcome. She said that I could have just let it go for one night and then brought it up later. I said that I didn't want to pretend everything was fine while people ignored basic plans that we made together. She said that it felt like I turned a family dinner into a power move over money. And now things are somewhat weird between us. So am I the a-hole? Update, thank you for all the comments. It was very cool to read different opinions. Unfortunately, I can't possibly answer everybody. And so we had a talk. It wasn't super dramatic or anything, just kind of weird. But her relatives texted me later saying no worries and that they didn't mean to cause issues, which was quite decent of them. My fiance still is a little distant though. Said that she needs time to think about how we handle stuff as a couple. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. I think you handled it well. In what world is it socially acceptable to show up to a hosted dinner with 4 uninvited guests? guests. And the fact that they didn't offer to pay for them is an additional level of rudeness. This comment says, not the a-hole, but you might want to check with your fiance if she okayed the extra people. She should be embarrassed of her family for being entitled, and not you. This is giving me the aura of, sure, you can bring them, he won't care, and then being embarrassed that you did indeed care. The top comment says, I'm not paying $200 for people who weren't invited. Not the a-hole. Yeah, from what I can see here, it's a not the a-hole consensus. And the next one says, am I the a-hole for refusing to let my cheating ex-wife spend her birthday with me and our kids? I, 40s male, was married to Martha, 40s female, for over 16 years. We had 2 kids together in that time who are now teenagers. Our marriage ended after I learnt of Martha's 3-year emotional affair with a man that she was talking to online. This was not the only reason our marriage ended, but it explained the problems that we'd been having. Martha and this man never met each other in person, and that was mentioned in the hopes that I would try to work things out. Yeah, they said a lot of things and she had developed strong feelings for him, but they never met face to face, and that was what I heard a lot of. Even without meeting or anything physical, it was way too much. She still cheated and treated me awfully, and I couldn't do anything right. She complained that I wasn't working hard enough to provide for us, and if I passed up on overtime, she'd give me hell about it. But she had also complained that I was working too many hours. Then she complained when I wanted to go out for a date night, and accused me of taking away from time that we could spend as a family with our kids or wasting money. Yet she complained when we didn't do something together. Our anniversaries were the worst. For the last 2 of our marriage, she got mad at me for getting her gifts that she loved and wanted. She'd say that I was trying to show her up or make her feel guilty for not being as good of a wife as I was a husband. Wow, okay. Whenever I spent time with our kids, she accused me of trying to poison them against her or win them to my side. At the time, I had no idea what she was talking about, and I told her. She said that kids always have a favorite parent, and I was trying to cement myself as theirs. One day, I asked her what she wanted from me, because nothing I did was right anymore, and then she told me that I needed to learn when I was wanted and when I wasn't, because I was acting like a baby who wanted attention when I tried to make a big deal out of date nights. More than once, she called me lazy when I refused to do overtime because we had something planned. The kids' birthdays and my birthdays were days she did not like me being there. On my birthday, the year before our divorce, our kids wanted me to take the day off so that we could go to this festival that was in our town for that day only, at least that month, and I did, but she hated it. Oh, she sounds awful. The truth came out when her sister had confronted me over something that Martha said, and then I went to confront Martha and she was messaging him when I got there. She confessed and showed me everything. I went through every message and she begged to save our marriage and she apologized for how she'd been treating me. Martha and this man were exchanging I love yous on a daily basis, and she was talking to him at night while we were in bed together and I was asleep. They wrote out very emotionally intense and graphic sexual situations that they imagined being in with each other. Oh, this is awful. We divorced and Martha tried to fight it, but I told her I would not stay, and now we're a year out from our divorce and Martha has still not let go. Our kids know about her affair. She confessed to them, and she apologized to them for the way that she treated me, which opened their eyes to some things that they never witnessed, and as a result, they don't want a relationship with her, but they're still forced to see her one weekend a month. They do not, however, have to see her on her birthday or theirs or for holidays. Martha's birthday was last weekend and our kids already had their visit done, so they didn't see her. She wanted me to agree to a family day with the 4 of us, and I refused. And when she pushed about it, I told her that she needed to find her soulmate, which is what she called her emotional affair partner, and celebrate it with him. I told her I had nothing to celebrate about her anymore, and then she broke down, and then her sister came for me for being cruel. She told me that it was bad enough losing me, and how I wouldn't even try, but she didn't deserve to lose the kids as she did, and my cruelty was wrong when she's still the mother of my children. I feel like I had a very good reason, but maybe I was cruel and it's not justified. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. And oh my god, another person faces the consequences of their own actions. No, you're definitely not the a-hole. You don't owe her anything. She made her bed. She can sleep in it. Like we read about all the time, it's another person that doesn't like facing consequences to their actions. This comment says not the a-hole in any form. She broke the bond of trust with you and your children. Maybe it can be restored one day, maybe never. One thing for sure though, you owe her nothing. Please stop letting her manipulate you and the kids. She created this void in her life and must learn to live without attention from you. That ship has sailed. Best of luck to you. Go create a life that makes you happy. Yeah, I feel like that's such a good point. She created this. This comment says not the a-hole. She's not just your cheating ex, she's your abusive ex. And she complained about every single thing, no matter what you did, because she needed you to be the villain in her story, to justify her cheating and all the other bullshit. She was the one unleashing cruelty onto you for years. Your choice is justified. If your teens didn't want to see her, you did the right thing. Can't you just block her sister at this point though? Her flying monkey? Yeah, that's so true too. Like, tried to make an issue with everything that OP did so that OP was the villain in their eyes, so that they could feel better about themselves for cheating. That's so awful. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole Martha made her bed, even if she never got around to laying in it with her soulmate, and now she's alone. Actions have consequences, which apparently she and her sister aren't smart enough to realize. If your kids are teenagers, they're old enough to decide if they want to be with their mum, and if they don't, too bad for her. And the comment below that said she f***ed around, in written form literally, and then found out, and now wallows in her victimhood about how everybody's mean and doesn't want her around because she's a trash can of a human being. She's completely delusional if she thinks that losing you, she didn't even appreciate you at all anyway, was anybody's fault but her own, and that the reason the kids don't want her around is for the same reason you don't want her around, or to be around her, because she's trash and destroyed the family, not the a-hole. Yeah, there are so many comments saying that it's a mess around and find out situation, and it really is. A comment below that says, not the a-hole, she didn't lose you, she intentionally threw you away. Your ex's life and happiness and finances and relationship with the kids, and not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself and your children. Yeah, and OP's even said that the kids don't want a relationship with her, and he's not forcing it, which is good. And I'm so happy that he's not trying to force it, because they don't want to see her. OP also has a comment that says, I'm not the person who turned the kids against her. They saw how she treated me and then learned from her that it was worse than they'd seen. None of that was because of anything I said or did. When that was going on, I tried to protect them from it, and I never would have told the kids how bad things got or what happened. She made that choice without me. Yeah, and the kids don't want anything to do with her anymore. Yeah, not the a-hole, and definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The next one. Am I the a-hole for not telling my ex that his passport was revoked and causing him to miss a flight? My ex and I have been divorced for 2 years. We have 2 kids, 8 male and 5 female. Everything was great until our daughter was born, and then it's like a switch flipped and he was a completely different person. I held out for as long as I could, but when he began an affair, I filed for divorce. He fought me every step and it took over a year to finalize. During the divorce, I was awarded primary custody. He was ordered to pay support, which he's never done. I don't need it, but it'd be nice to have it to save for the kids, so I did sign up for enforcement. I don't badger him about it. I know to him it's a way to try to get me to talk to him. I let enforcement do their thing. Since he's so far behind, they've suspended just about everything they can. They send notices to him when this happens, but I'm sure he doesn't open them. I'm a first-gen American and most of my extended family still lives abroad. My grandmother recently passed away earlier this year, and I decided that I wanted to visit my family with my kids and also get to see her resting place. My ex and I had some back and forth because I need permission from him to leave the country. He agreed, but made a point to tell me that he feels now's a good time to take a vacation and that he was always planning to visit my family's country. I was already anticipating this because following us is something he does every time I take the kids on a trip. Oh my god. My lawyer drafted a document to be signed and notarized that I was being given permission to take our kids out of the country for the specific dates. She also included a clause that he has up until 72 hours prior to the day of travel to revoke his permission, and he agreed. The day for us to leave arrives and I get to the airport with the kids 3 hours before our flight. Things go smooth and I take the kids to a diner to grab some breakfast. My ex arrives much later, and as we're finishing up I get a call from him. It turns out that his passport was revoked due to lack of child support payments. He was denied at check-in and there's no way that he can get his passport reinstated without paying his arrears in full. He said that since he can't go, he no longer gives me permission to take them. Wow. I reminded him that we're past the 72 hours for him to deny my travel request. He said that he was going to inform an officer that I was trying to kidnap his children. I told him to do whatever he felt was necessary. Officers did show up at the gate to figure out what was going on, but I had the notarized agreement with me, so they sent us on our way. He kept on spamming my phone non-stop until we got on the plane, where I was able to turn it off and get some peace for the flight. While we were in the air, he called my brother to complain. We met through him and they're still friends, and I've now now been given an earful about how cruel it was for me to continue with the trip, knowing that he wouldn't be able to follow us and that I didn't tell him on purpose. My mother told him to stay out of it and that it's no longer my responsibility to remind him to open his mail, but some extended family agree with my brother. I don't think I'm the a-hole for continuing our trip, but I am questioning whether I'm an a-hole for not giving him a heads up that he should check his passport. I didn't know it was revoked for sure, but I suspected. So am I the a-hole? Edit to add, because I keep seeing this and I can't keep up with the comments. He can absolutely afford child support. He is self-employed, hence no garnishment, unfortunately, but he does well. Him not paying is solely a control tactic. He was not happy about the divorce, and now he does whatever he thinks will punish me for going through with the divorce, and that includes purposely withholding support. However, I make decent money, enough to pay bills and put a little savings away for the kids, and to take them to do fun stuff a couple of times a year, so it doesn't really affect me. He knows the money would go right to the kids' savings accounts, but expects me to beg him for it. Eventually, it will catch up to him and he'll have to pay it some way or another. It's just him prolonging the inevitable and making things more difficult for himself. And also, I don't know why this isn't clear, at least for one person that keeps on falsely stating it over and over in different comments, but we were not going on vacation together at all. Nothing was planned together. This was solely a trip for me and the kids. The document stated that it was for me and the kids and that I'd be taking full responsibility for them. It was not, and it never was, a we are taking the kids on vacation. That was made extremely clear to him, and he understood. So him being unable to leave the country for his vacation had absolutely no bearing on our trip, as they were two distinctly separate travel arrangements. Wow, okay, yeah, the top comment. Not the a-hole. Some people hate that there are consequences to actions. He's the one who didn't pay his child support thinking that he was somehow punishing you. Child support's for the children, so him not paying makes him an a-hole, since they're innocent in all of this. And the fact that he got his passport revoked is entirely on him. He can moan and complain about it, but it all comes back to his actions. Yeah, for sure, and the response to that. And why would it be on her to tell him that his passport was revoked, or would get revoked, even if she were notified about it? That's entirely between him and the court. Yeah, that was never OP's job. And the second top comment says, why is your brother encouraging your ex to stalk you? The comment below that one says, not the a-hole, he's just mad that he didn't get his way. He's definitely gonna never allow you to take another trip with the kids without him following though. You may even need to go back to court to get him to stop and to establish a pattern of behavior. And OP said, luckily, I only need permission for international travel, so we can still go on trips within the US. But yeah, I'm sure that I'll never get his agreement again, and I'll have to apply for a court order the next time that I want to visit my family with the kids. The response to the comment that says, why is your brother encouraging your ex to stalk you, says, this is my question. Why was he okay with the ex following OP to visit her family? Ex is no longer a part of her family. Even if he did want to go to the same place on vacation, he doesn't need to time his trip with hers. It's so creepy that she can't go anywhere without him going too. And the response says, yeah, I think I'd let the judge know about that you can't go anywhere with the kids without him following. You shouldn't have to hide your plans from him just to get some alone time. That's harassment. He cheated on you. He decided to break the bonds. He made his choice. Now he doesn't get to be a part of your family outings. He can take them on his own. And this comment says, because of how he went about what he did, you have proof that he's deliberately making your life difficult. You might be able to go to court and no longer need that permission. I really hope you documented everything. Yeah, and what's OP's brother doing? Where it said there, he called my brother to complain because we met through him and they're still friends. And now I've been given an earful about how cruel it was for me to continue with the trip, knowing that he wouldn't be able to follow us. Why does your brother want him to be able to do that? Why is your brother more on his side than your side? That is so bad. This comment says, your brother's friends with the man who made your life so difficult that you had no choice but to leave, doesn't pay child support, and low-key stalks you and your children? What kind of f***ed up is this? Yeah, that is so bad. And yeah, of course, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. And the next one. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend borrow my car after how she returned it last time? I, 27 female, have a decent used car that I worked hard to pay off. It's nothing fancy, but it runs well and I take really good care of it. Regular maintenance, I keep it clean, no smoking, no trash inside. I've always been a little protective of it because I rely on it every day for work. A few months ago, my friend, 29 female, let's call her Sarah, asked to borrow it for a weekend trip because her car was in the shop. I hesitated, but I said yeah because we've been friends for years and I wanted to help. She returned it 2 days later with less than a quarter tank of gas. I'd filled it before giving it to her. Fast food wrappers in the back seat, dirt all over the passenger floor, and the cherry on top, a mystery scratch on the back bumper that she swore was already there. It wasn't. I didn't say much at the time because I hate confrontation, but I was so pissed. Especially because I expected more out of somebody who I'm friends with. Okay, so you're definitely not the a-hole. I know we haven't finished the post yet, but yeah, of course you don't want to lend her your car again. You should never lend her your car again. Fast forward to this week, she texts me asking if she can borrow my car again for a different trip. I told her no, very politely, and said that I wasn't comfortable loaning it out anymore. She seems to have gotten upset with me and was saying things like, "Are you sure you can't just help me out?" I feel like that's what friends do for each other. Like, I feel like she's guilt tripping me. I don't know. Yeah, she definitely is. It's completely reasonable that you don't want to lend somebody your car. And especially with how she treated your car. I responded initially, but now I'm waiting to reply. But now I'm getting messages from another mutual friend saying that I'm being too uptight and that it wouldn't kill me to help her out just this once. Why can't they borrow this other person's car? I feel like I'm being guilt tripped for setting a boundary after already being taken advantage of once. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let her borrow my car again? No, not even a little bit. Of course you don't want to lend your car to her. And you definitely shouldn't. Anybody in your situation would feel the exact same. The top comment says, "I really don't get when people call others out for not doing something. Why don't they lend her their car? Or their Metro card or whatever? Or, here's a novel thought, they have rental cars. I know, right? What a wacky idea. But it might be better to keep friends if she rented a car, not the a-hole OP. If she insists, tell her that you need $1,000 cash deposit, for cleaning and mystery scratches." This comment says, "Nah, I'm not lending my car out to anyone. There are lots of cheap rental companies out there, or public transport's great. Have a good trip. Do not back down, OP. She's not your friend, and she's obviously already talking crap about you behind your back, not the a-hole." And this comment says, "Not the a-hole." The answer to that text is, I already loaned it to her just the once. The way that she treated it ensured it'll be just the once. Yeah, borrowing somebody's car, leaving rubbish in it, which is so inconsiderate in itself, but to actually scratch it too, and to use all of the fuel that was in it when it had a full tank, and to not replace the fuel that you used, that is so annoying. Okay, the next one says, "Am I the a-hole for no longer making my colleagues a birthday cake?" So I, 30 female, am a chef, and I've been working at a high-end restaurant for almost 2 years. Since I started, I made it a point to find out when a fellow colleague's birthday was and make them a cake or sweet treat to celebrate, and then share it with everybody else working. Since then, I've made numerous treats at work for birthdays. I've also made them at home and brought them in the next day if I was off or we were closed, along with going out early in the morning on my days off and buying specific treats for one reason or another to drop off before service started. My birthday, however, was a month ago, and no one at work did a single thing. They knew it was my birthday over the weekend in which we were closed because they all asked me about it the following work week. I was pretty hurt, but I let it go, and I told myself that I wouldn't be making any effort for any more birthdays unless specifically told to by my boss. Now, it's someone's birthday tomorrow, which I didn't even know about, until a colleague emails me saying, "It's so-and-so's birthday tomorrow." That's it. That was the whole message. Oh my god. No hello or how are you, just those 4 words, and it rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, understandably, OP. I worked a semi-solo shift today, everybody else was off and could have organised something, and I was very busy as it's prep day today, which I do at the start of every week, prepping specific items for other sections to help them get a head start. After a couple of exchanges, I held firm and told them that I was too busy tomorrow to do it, and I won't be making a cake for anybody anymore for the remainder of the year, as nobody put in any effort into mine this year. They said, "Okay, fair." Now I feel terrible, and I'm second guessing whether to make something small at work, even though we were incredibly busy tomorrow. So, am I the a-hole? No, definitely not. That is so rude of them. The top comment says, "Not the a-hole. Bakeries are open all year round, not just on your birthday. Your time and effort should be appreciated, not expected." The second top comment says, "I was also the baking person in my office, and I also stopped when nobody bothered to even get a card for me. One dip even said to me on my birthday, 'Oh, I was gonna make some cupcakes or something for you because you always do it for everybody, but I decided to put my new TV up instead.' I actually looked at him and said, 'Why would you ever tell someone that?' His mouth fell open and I walked away. For sake." And the comment below that one says, "Not the a-hole at all. What you were doing was kind and thoughtful and extra, not part of your job. You went above and beyond for your team, and when it came time for them to show you the same kindness, they dropped the ball. It's completely valid to feel hurt and pull back from doing something something that clearly took time and effort and care, especially when it wasn't reciprocated. Also, that email? So cold. No please, no thanks, not even a would you mind? Like you're the birthday cake department and not like, you know, a human being with your own workload and feelings. You're allowed to set boundaries without any guilt. Choosing not to do unpaid emotional labor after being overlooked doesn't make you petty. It makes you self-respecting. If you want to do something small, that's your choice, but don't feel like you should. You already gave so much and it's okay to take a step back. Yes, so not the a-hole OP. You haven't done anything wrong. And after what we've read today, let's read something wholesome. I feel like we definitely need it. Kinda explains why cats are so weird. Oh my god, there's aliens in them. Yeah, I knew it. Like you guys have seen Jin before. Try telling me that there's not a little alien in him. He's an alien if I've ever seen one. Everything makes so much sense now. Like how Jin looks so terrifying all the time, and how he stares at stuff menacingly and scarily, how we can see stuff in the room that's not even here. It's because he's an alien. Oh my god, this is incredible. Thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. I really appreciate the support. As always, subscribe if you want to and let me know in the comments what you thought. And the comment of the day goes to Spider Gamer. Day 355 of telling the Vincey fam god-awful jokes I heard on the internet. What do you say to a cow that gets in your way? Move. So bad that it is good, you know? Thank you once again for the jokes in the comments, Spider Gamer. I really appreciate it. I love god-awful jokes. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself, everybody, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!